What's up, Kansas City? I'm your host, Glenn Brian Brazell. Today we are taping in the historic Lincoln Building, home of Cascade Media Group, right here in the 18th and Vine District, Kansas City, Missouri. Today's special guest is seeking re-election on the April 8th ballot, Hickman Middle School District School Board, a board she served on since 2002. If re-elected, she will serve a 3-year term. She also currently serves in the Missouri House of Representatives and represents the 27th District. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, Kansas City land? We are pleased to have with us Missouri House Representative Ms. Bonnaye Mims. How are you doing, Ms. Mims?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm glad that we could convince you to come out and talk to us here today.
Well, I'm trying to slow it down. There's a lot of things going on out in the community and a lot of things and people that you got to meet and see. And so I'm busy.
True. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're running for re-election to the Hickman Middle School District School Board?
My top priority is educating our children, and I take it very serious when it comes to our children, their education, and just the way that they have to live and thrive and be able to make it as a reasonable person in life, and to make sure that they're proud of themselves as I continue to be whenever I run into them in the street. I am pleased to see that we have a good superintendent and that we're able to move forward. Now, make no mistake, we had a good superintendent prior to. There was a lot of things that was very difficult for us. As the state kept cutting the budget, we had to keep cutting in our district, but we never cut where it bothered the education of our children at that particular time. That particular superintendent bought a lot of grants, and people may not believe it and they don't like to hear it.
Dr.
Marge Williams.
Williams.
Our district sometimes, to keep the doors open, we lived off of grants. And she made sure that every kid's needs were met. So there were a lot of things that a lot of people didn't like and that they wanted to dislike or point fingers, but as you know, you have to do what you have to do and to make it move forward. So she made sure all of our kids' needs were met. Now that she's retired, there are a lot of people that want to point fingers and makes like she's the one that the district has been going downhill for 12 years. The district wasn't going downhill for 12 years. We lost our 2 points in 2012.
Really?
And yes, and what happened with that is a lot of people don't want to believe, but it was right in the middle of testing, and we got a lot of students that wasn't prepared and came into our district. And as I said with the DESE supervisor, she knew that we would have to take those children, and we were not putting them on no waiting list. We took them all in, and we put mentors and coaches in so we could bring them up to par. And we lost our 2 points, and that made us provisional.
Well, Ms. Mims, can you tell us a little bit about your background, where you were born and raised, and where you pursued your education?
Well, I was born in Kansas City, Kansas. I was raised some on an Indian reservation with my grandmother, and I came back to the city. And then I had to come back and learn to speak English, so I had to go to speech therapy. I went to the Kansas City School District.
Did you speak a Native American language before that?
Yes, I did, and I lost it because there's nobody there to talk to me. All my elders are all gone.
Oh.
So I went to school in the Kansas City School District. I'm very proud of, and I'm a graduate from Purcell High School. And then I went on and had my children, and then I decided to go back to school. So I got my I went to Whitworth College, and then I got my bachelor's from Park University, and I got my master's from Park also.
Awesome. Can you tell me what you've been doing professionally since?
I worked in forensic services as a coordinator for 38 years, and that's working on capital cases. So pretty much like how you see some of CSI or some of that kind of stuff. But I enjoyed what my work was. We worked on pretrial criminal evaluations. So I was the person that made sure whatever came in the door, everything that was being taken care of, the inmates, and then all the way out when the evaluation was completed and sent to court.
And Ms. Mims, you have served in the Missouri House?
This is my second session. So yes, I've been there since 2012. And I enjoy it. It's a lot of work, but it's work that when I go there, I look at it as a job. And my first priority is to my constituents. So I try to make sure that I meet all their needs and then work on the bills that I've been working on. But my first priority has always been my school district, so no matter what's happening, I always come home for our meetings. Right now they have work sessions that they've started, so those are on the second Wednesdays of the month, and so I Skype in. I've learned how to Skype. So
Skype can be very, very beneficial.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me a little bit about your civic and community involvement?
I've been involved in, everything from PTA with children, mentoring children. I'm active in the community. I've worked on the state level in PTA. I've been a committee woman for 25 plus years, and because of the redistricting of the maps, I've had to move, so I had to step away from that seat. My involvement goes on, so it's like Eastern Star, working in different candidates' campaigns, worked in our president's campaign. So it's been a lot of things. And I mentored at that particular time for a little while before I went to the state, children at our schools. So I had 4 children that I looked after and myself, on top of having 4 of my own that are
Wow.
grown. And I just got 2 new grandbabies who are twins. So I have 9 grandbabies. So I make sure that it's a busy life, but I enjoy it. And so all the kids that I run into that have graduated, or their parents or something, so I stay involved.
Ms. Mims, let's, for the next 5 minutes, focus in specifically on your vision for the Hickman Mills community. Kansas City Star report in September of 2012 cited a drop-off in academic performance, leading Missouri education officials to lower the Hickman Mills School District to provisional accreditation status. Right now, as we speak, I'm told that even higher criteria by the state are being implemented and will affect the provisional accreditation status when it comes into review again in 2015. Ms. Mims, what is your vision plan for increasing educational standards, performances, and regaining full accreditation status?
Well, what you're talking about at this point is the MSEP 5, which is going to affect all school districts. It's not just ours, but all across the state of Missouri. So it looks at everybody to become not provisional, but none of us will be provisional status. Mm-hmm. Mine is to look at the goals that our superintendent has set for before our children. We've got rigor already in there. Part of it is involved, and which we used to do before, and that was involved the parents, the kids, the community, the business base, and there was a partnership. So he's bringing them all back together. And so it's putting the kids, well, for one, he's got computers coming in so that we can have our kids on the map and marketable, and so that they're learning and being, apprised of what the test scores are, be able to work off the computers. Beforehand, we didn't have that. Everything was being done off of the books. So, we're looking at some of those things that he's bringing in. So I'm very pleased to see what he's brought in, and his 5-year strategic plan, his 1-year strategic plan, and so it makes sure that all of us are on board. And, you have a lot of splits on a lot of things. But this is one thing I think everybody should be on board, and to be able to move our district forward. And also look at the heritage and our history of our district. That when you go and look at a lot of those people, they're very proud of coming from the Hickman Mills School District. So, yes, I'm pleased, and I'm ready for the goals to be going forward.
You talk about a community effort, Ms. Mims. Hickman Mills School District was once located in a thriving area, and we've watched over the years as businesses have packed up and left. Bannister Mall and Hypermart have been closed several years now. How important is it for school board members to work with business leaders to form partnerships to address the Hickman Mills community's business needs and moving forward?
Well, if you're serious about what your job is as being a board member, you're supposed to, that's something that you're supposed to be doing, is working and partnershiping with not only just the businesses, but the community, knowing your parents, knowing your children, and then you'll be able to know what's really going on in the district. A lot of people, don't get me wrong, some of them don't like me, but I'm out there. I'm in the trenches. I know what's going on. I work with my children. I listen to our parents. And the most important thing is the partnerships and the ownership that you have. With Cerner coming to our district, that's going to be a very good, important impact on our district, and brought back hope to the people that's in our district likewise. And so a lot of people, everybody's out kind of like for the grab piece, But you got to look at what all has happened in our district. We were thriving, then we lost a whole lot. The tax base went back to the people. And so now with Cerner's been a good partner to the district. $6 million. The total package was $8 million. $6 million went to the school district, and it's going to the school district, and $2 million is back to the community. So, but Cerner has been there before they even bought the old Bannister Mall area.
Mm-hmm.
They've been very helpful with our children and making sure that there's money for them to go, scholarships, And as you notice, about 4 years ago, we had 3 children from our district that got the Gates Millennium. So, we got good children, we got strong children, and we got smart ones. And so I don't want to sit and say that our district is terrible, because it's not. We just like anybody else, we're coming back up.
Good and strong children. Ms. Mims, if you ask people, many will agree that there's still a sense of community in the Hickman Mills area. People remember the tornado. There are still grandparents in the area who have alumni and connection, who are alumni and have connection to our schools. Ms. Mims, how will you work with community members, parents, and teachers, continue to work with them to accomplish your goals?
I like the way you said that, how I continue to do it, because I do. I'm very involved with our teachers, and I have an open door policy. So whatever it is your concerns are, if it's something that you see that I need to work on, I always open the door and allow that to come in. I continue to go to homes associations. I attend when I'm invited, because a lot of times they don't want you there or involved in a lot of the things that are going on, because they got the business part. So I'm very active. I'm out there, and I stop and I spend time with our kids. I go to games and different things, so I'll know what's going on, and I stay abreast of how things are changing, how the world is changing, how our children are thinking. So I'm very active out there, and I come home, and that's what I do.
How will you continue to work with current school board members and maybe some new ones to accomplish your goals?
You have to be able to work with each other and know that you're not always the most perfect person in the world. So you have to learn how to be a partner. And I share information. I also share history. By being on the board 15 years, I share things that have happened that were good and bad. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. But I give them the history out there. And what I really enjoy is how we reorganized our board this past June, July. And so the young people that we have on our board now, the president is fabulous. He opens the door, he allows people to talk, he allows you to share your views, he's transparent. So between the president and the vice president and the superintendent, I think we're off to a good start.
And I should say you were one school board president as well.
Yes, I was.
Okay. Ms. Mims, Kansas City articles released recently, I'm going to read this question. I offer the opportunity for you to make a comment. If you don't want to, we understand. Ms. Mims, Kansas City Star articles released recently point to not so sound business policies and procedures being practiced by members who sit on the Hickman Mills School Board. Some of these practices were detailed in the audit report by Missouri Auditor Tom Sweitz. Ms. Mims, as a current school board member, is there any truth to these allegations and that the environment was contentious in school board meetings?
Yes, it was, and it's very true. People may not want to hear it, but that is very true. I will tell you, it was quite appalling. People need to understand, as they pointing fingers, there's 7 board members, and each one have 1 vote. There were, at times, we were outvoted when it came to asking questions that were going on. So in the middle of the auditors being there and the things that they were finding, I was not comfortable with it. And I also was one who was instigating the part of going to the auditors to say the people need to hear this. The people need to know what's going on. And I appreciate it if you all would share the truth with them. The appalling part of that was all the things that they were doing was something that a lot of us didn't appreciate. And then in writing letters, there was a letter written against our board president, and then there was a letter that was written between 3 of us board members to the Attorney General's office with the things that were happening in our district, and that prompted even more digging of the audit. Now, as much as fingers were being pointed, not one time in that audit that you will find that I had done anything that was wrong, illegal, or that was defamatory to my district. I have take honor and pride in the Hickman Mills School District. And if you notice, they always had to go and get a subpoena from, at that time, the board president to gain access to the records that they were needing and those contracts. And that's what was the part that was very difficult and very appalling. And at this point, in watching the 2 people that we have at the top, Mr. Lowe and Mr. Osmond at the present time with our superintendent, is able to move our district forward. And as an incumbent board member, I can sit and watch the work go and sit there and enjoy seeing that they're enthralled and they're full of vibrant and life about taking care of this district. And I'm pleased to see that come back. So what I'm saying to the people in the community is get back out, get involved, quit pointing your fingers, and go out there and find out for yourself what's really going on. And at one time, our district was very strong, was at every meeting. We had the media at every meeting. And so I'm glad to see it come back. So with this audit coming back out and the truth is being told and all the cards on the table, the media is back in our district, the people are coming out, and our students are seeing that their voices are being heard. And that's what's important.
Awesome, awesome. And we've had Mr. Osmond on the show. Ms. Mims, can you assess the challenges and successes you have faced during your tenure with the Hickman Mills School District School Board?
Yes, I can. The challenges that I faced was cutting of the budget. The challenges that was hard and sometimes was very difficult was when we had to cut positions and let people go. Making sure that our kids had, making sure that we kept curriculum in place, academics in place, and another piece that people looked at, but we didn't take activities out of our school, because that's a piece that makes the holistic person. The challenges were working with nothing and still making it work. And so being able to run a school district, keep the doors open and didn't hardly have it at most of the time. But one thing I always did, I put it out there in front of the people. I put it in front of the teachers when we had to cut, when we had to lay off, and then when we got money, when we could come back and bring them back on board, and then, hire people back. So it was a lot of challenges out there, and a lot of people look at it and think that you just have to sit there and you're looking at just a curriculum, but you've got to look at the whole picture, and you've got to be able to make sure that your teachers are involved, the teachers have a salary. You can't ask people to come to work and not get paid. You had to make sure your students were getting fed. You're making sure that their needs were met. They had the books that they need. We did a coat program. It was a whole lot of things that goes into that. So yeah, those were some of the challenges, and some of them are still there. But I do have a problem when I hear people always put poverty and free and reduced lunch together as if though you can't make it, or you're not smart, or you can't be intelligent enough just because you have a free and reduced program, or you got a lot of children that are struggling, and parents trying to make ends meet. We struggle, our parents struggled, and we made it. And so those are some of the things I look at.
Mrs. Mims, the next question is a two-part question, and then I'm going to open the floor up for final words. Can you tell us why you initially decided to run, how many years ago, for a school board? What made you decide to run on the Hickman Mills School Board? And can you also tell us what you've learned during your time as sitting on the Hickman Mills School Board?
I was always involved in the school district and in schools, period. I was involved when we were in the Kansas City School District, and then when we moved to Hickman, I was involved there. What made me decide to run for the school board, I was proud of the district. I was proud of where our kids were, where the staff was, and we were very vibrant and
you had kids who went to Hickman Mills?
Yes, I had 3 that graduated out of Hickman Mills, and we were a district that full accreditation. We had the funding for our schools. At that time, we had a whole lot of things that were going on. Our district was just now beginning to change some, so we were probably at that time 60-40 in the minority. And then as the children grew up, the district started to change, and then we started having more African American, more Hispanics in our schools. We have 30 different languages in our schools at the present time. So when the laws started changing, DESE started changing, the whole organization of school districts started changing. So different criteria started changing. So you had challenges each time. Each time it still kept me wanting to make sure our kids got the best education. Even after my kids graduated, and I'm very proud. I had at that particular time 1 granddaughter that was attending the school district until her mother decided to move out of the state. But I still think of my district. I'm proud of it. I'm going to fight for it. I believe in it, and I believe in the rich heritage. And when you get to talk to your seniors in the district, and they get to tell you about the different streets that are now there, that are no longer there, what the tornado did, and then I worked with them on the anniversary of the tornado. So it's a lot there, and I watched different groups of people change and work together. And then you still got some out there that are not happy or don't want to be involved with you. You know that, then that's what you choose to deal with.
We thank you, Ms. Mims. Do you have any final words?
One of my final pieces is people, stay involved. Get out there and see what's going on with your children in the school district, see what's happening in the school district, and in the meantime, support your superintendent, because this man came all the way here to help us turn our district around. I say to everybody, please stay proud and keep the pride of the Hickman Mills School District alive.
This is Missouri House Representative Ms. Bonnaye Mims, current Hickman Mills School Board member. Please vote in the April 8th elections. My name is Glenn Brian Frizzell. Check out more Hickman Mills School Board School District candidates online at www.whatsupkansascity.net. And remember, the sky is the limit. If you shoot for the moon and you miss, at the very least, you would have landed among the stars. Take care until next time.
CMG wants you to always remember, the victory we call success goes to the best prepared. When you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Thanks.